Hello and welcome to Hope Meets Banter Q&A. This is where you send in questions, we answer them. And we have a special guest. We have Neeks from Neeks Sports join us again, and obviously have Hope, man like Matt, and myself, Devo. So we're going to get into these questions. You have sent them into the email, which is hopemeetsbanter@gmail.com. And let's go straight into the first one. This is from Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, finally, man, finally.
All right, and this one is, will Arsene Wenger be remembered by the under-25s as a great or a failure? Who wants to take up that one first?
Oh, the under-25s.
The younger generation.
Okay, so from 06, so their memory really started at what? 2006?
25 years.
90.
Well, remember, if they're 25 under, then they probably weren't watching football until there's 5 years in. So you're probably saying about 20 years.
Let's say about 95 or 98.
Okay, so all right, okay. So
from about 2000 onwards, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say he will be remembered as a failure, but for me, it's.
But they saw the Invincibles.
But for me,
but that was the end of it.
Yeah, that was the last.
They didn't see anything before that.
But for me, it's up to us to make sure they don't.
Yeah.
Because as much as I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I was like, Wenger had to go. He just had to go. And I would say his last 10 years kind of not undid, but it ruined part of his legacy. But the reality is what he did in those 10 years in terms of how he revolutionized. We talk about how Pep's revolutionized, or he's coming to the Premier League and done X, Y, Z. He revolutionized English football. He revolutionized Arsenal as a club. And to go unbeaten in the Premier League is no mean feat. Man City, who some say were the greatest Premier League team of all time, haven't been able to do it and probably aren't going to ever do it. So for me, it's up to us who remember what Wenger did, that 98 double team, and the 2002, I think it was a double team as well, and the 2004. We have to make sure that people remember that. But unfortunately, the way that society is, everything's come and go. So what you did yesterday is forgotten tomorrow. So, they're not going to really appreciate Wenger for what he is, but,
Get off Twitter. It's dangerous, even though I do need it for my social tomorrow. But I think that the under-25s, I think they're at the behest of social media, quick things, and literally one of the most famous hashtags of all time is Wenger out.
Yeah.
And the under-25s have grown up and have been known and have really grown up with Twitter and everything. When we were all growing up, Twitter wasn't even a thought. It was that bloody brick Windows 98, that kind of stuff. So I think in Nigeria, when I was just seeing, because again in Nigeria was when I started watching Premier League, when I was seeing what Arsenal were doing, I was like, my God, these guys are playing like no one has ever played like before. The way that they were playing, the tactics that they were using, how he was using Beckham and Henry, dieting as well. It changed everything.
I think Wenger was cheating, blood. They man were doing laser passing.
Look, man, it was
laser guided
they
passing.
were doing. And remember, this is Ferguson and Manchester at its height, and I think Ferguson will know that was one of his toughest ever.
He met his match, I think.
Because as good as City were and all these guys were coming up, I think what Wenger did really puts Ferguson on his toes. But I think that again, with what Nick said, they will know him as a failure because again, this is the ADD Twitter generation, but it is our job to say, do your homework and look at the legacy that he brought. Because I'm sure right now, all of these guys that are coming in learns from what Wenger did off the pitch as to how do you prepare for a game.
These I think are covered. I have to agree with everything that they said. I think it's sad, isn't it? They probably are going to just remember Wenger as a failure, but it shouldn't be because, listen, Arsene Wenger, even as a Liverpool fan, one of the greatest managers of my generation, the guy was serious. To go, as you said, unbeaten in any league, I think that's ridiculous. And as I said before, the passing, I remember watching Arsenal and I was just thinking, no, something's not right here. I've never seen players the way they were moving the ball, and I hadn't seen that in because I never used to watch a lot of Spanish football, obviously when I was younger. Obviously as I got older. But when I saw what they were doing, I just thought, no. And as you said, Ferguson, I think for the first time was like, I'll bet my match.
He was shook.
He really pushed him.
He pushed
and
him.
what made it even more impressive was that man had no budget.
Yeah.
He had no budget.
At the beginning we did.
Well, man had a Nelka for what, 600,000.
Yeah. He sold it for
25 million.
Henry was a winger from Juventus.
Henry was
11 million.
11 million. Turned him into the best striker.
How much was Beckham?
How much was
from
Vieira?
Inter Milan?
Vieira was over 250.
No, Beckham. How much?
Beckham was signed before, and that was for quite a long money.
I remember.
And
That was like 6
build
million
a training ground with the Anelka money.
Yeah.
Oh, listen,
I'm telling you. So yeah, I think.
But you know, one thing I will just add to that. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan,
Yeah.
but
You're like,
if Tottenham, right, go, let's say the next 7 years, and qualifying for the top 4 without a trophy, will people say, "Well done, Pochettino, you haven't had the budget, you've had to build a stadium"? Will he be seen as a failure? Because that is what Wenger is seen as a failure for doing. We went through a transitional period where we financed the stadium ourselves. We were playing with Denilson, Squillaci, Bentner.
but it's about where you came from.
Exactly.
Arsenal dropped.
Exactly. So
There we go. That's the
my
key
point
point.
is,
The key point.
these people who are under 25, they weren't there for the success.
Yeah.
They just saw
True,
the top
true,
4.
true.
So
Yeah,
would
yeah.
they see him as a failure?
No. I think because Arsenal are a victim of their own success.
Oh yeah.
Like if you take away Invincibles and what he did in the late 90s and the early 2000s, like my God, based on your budget to consistently be in the top 4, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But we knew what they were.
Yeah.
We saw what the benchmark was. Tottenham have not had anything near that benchmark. So we say, wait, these are guys who have never ever been in the conversation of one of the top teams in the country, and Pochettino is consistently making them one of the top teams in the country. So wow, well done you, because listen, Pochettino has created their benchmark.
Yeah.
So this is their benchmark. Arsenal being top 4, that's not your benchmark. Your
No, it's
benchmark
not.
are your
Benchmark
big
is
winners.
challenging for titles. Yeah,
Yeah.
benchmark challenging for titles.
All right, no, that was a good question there, Muhammad Ali. I like that one. Okay, we're going to move on to Jason Ping. This one's from you. It's, which was the better side, Zidane's Madrid or Pep Guardiola's Barcelona?
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
it's
Wait, easy, relax, not easy, man. Let's talk.
That's the question. So we'll come to. I'll go with man like Matt
Let's
first.
talk. It's not
Man
that easy.
said-
It's
I'll
not
let
that
you stew a
easy.
little
Man
bit over
says
there.
Zidane's Real Madrid.
You know what? I was gonna come in, you know, and I had to double just.
Yeah, you know me.
There we go. There we go. So thank you. Just don't rush into things. Remember, guys. You know.
Go ahead.
You know what? I was about to go mad at one point. I'd be like, what kind of stupid question is this, blood? Are you dumb? I just started spazzing out. And I was like, you know what? Kind of got a good point. Wait, they done the free pick, man. They done the free pick. Wait, listen. You know what?
Oh man, it's not
That's
that
a
easee.
very
know
good
what?
question.
It's
Very
not
good
that
question.
easy, because when you just look at what those dudes
I'm not
did,
gonna lie, I have to look into the camera. This is the first time man's got me, you know, bro. You might have to come back. Come back to me, because look,
that's tough.
that's a tough one.
We got some good questions this week.
That's
I'm
a
telling
tough one, because as I said, I was about to go ham. But, bro, the 3-peat of Madrid.
you. Neeks.
Come to me last, sorry.
Listen,
sorry,
what-
bro.
what I
Come to me
would
last.
say-
Come to me last.
Over that 3-year period, that Real Madrid side was better than the Barcelona side. That's what I'm gonna say. And I can't even argue it per se. It's just coming to me as I'm speaking. But what Pep did from when he came, we've seen the legacy of that after he left. Whereas compared to when Zidane has left, Real Madrid look like they're falling apart. So that 3-year period, Barcelona can't touch them. Just in terms of what they did. 3 Champions Leagues, 1 La Liga, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
But where are they now, kind of thing? Whereas that Pep side
Yeah.
was still there after
This-
winning La Ligas, dominating
How many?
teams in
I'm trying to
Champions
remember how
League.
many leagues they
But then
won
that's a
under
different
Pep.
thing you're saying. You're talking about legacy. This question is who's
No, but
better.
what I'm
If you're
saying-
saying who has had the
what I'm
better
saying-
legacy, there
But
we
what
go.
I'm saying is Pep leaves, but that's still Pep's Barcelona side. Pep Barcelona side remained even after Pep left, whereas Zidane's Real Madrid, they're not even there anymore. It's
If
not
you're
the same
if you're
Real
just talking
Madrid.
about success, if you're talking about just
a tough
success as
one.
well, because I'm trying to remember how many leagues they won under
Under Pep, so they won it in
The
2008,
first time.
Yeah.
2009, 2000.
I think
They did
2010 might have been Real Madrid, you know.
Yeah.
I think it might have
No,
been.
2010.
No, did he win 3 in a
2010.
row?
Was it 3?
Mourinho did a
Oh,
100
no.
points thing. I don't know when it was.
That was
9, 10, 11. They were 9, 10, 11.
yeah.
Because Higuain won
He was in
08.
20. Mourinho was in Inter Milan at 2010.
It was
sorry.
9,
Yeah.
10, 11, and then
Yeah,
Real
yeah,
Madrid
yeah.
won
They
in
did it.
2012.
They
Okay,
did it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9, 10, 11.
So he done 3. See, you know.
Okay. You know, my thing is that it's. I feel that if you're going to say who is better between, okay, so what was the
The
question?
question was, which,
Where's stop?
What's the question?
which was the better side, Zidane's
man.
Madrid or Pep's Barcelona?
I'm going to say Zidane's Real Madrid side. Because for me, I'm saying, okay, let them play a game. And I'm looking at things tactically. And I think in a tactical setup, Real Madrid's counter-attack and their speed and how Barcelona played, I think Real Madrid would have gotten that Barcelona side.
But would Real Madrid touch the ball? You got to
They
remember.
don't have to touch them. No. My thing,
You're
no.
forgetting Pep. This is the thing.
Wait. This is
Yeah,
my
go,
thing.
go.
On their three-peats, all they did was counter. You take the ball, we will counter the living fuck out of you. And I think for Barcelona, I think that's the damn team who could live without the ball. And they said, as soon as we get the ball, we are hitting you hard. So it's tough.
Let me say something.
Let me just say, it is not easy because this is a crazy difficult question because that's
I'll
Pep.
go-
Barcelona
I'll
side
ask a
is crazy.
question.
Yeah, go, go, go.
Do you think that Barcelona team got better over those 4 years, as in culminating in 2011 where they destroyed Man United at Wembley? Whereas I would say the Real Madrid team declined. That the last year where they won the Champions League
great.
was the most
Yeah.
unconvincing
I
of
agree,
it.
I
The
agree.
Bayern Munich semi-final, for example, they could semi-final. They could easily have gone out.
They could have,
Whereas the
yeah.
Barcelona side, the 2011 side,
They kept
was
peaking
better
with
than the 2009.
I'm
No,
gonna
this
finish
is
it.
crazy.
It's mad. After having a good long thing, I think for me, Barca just edge it. And I think the reason why I'm even saying that, and it's hard to even justify, is because I think it's harder to win 3 leagues in a row than it is Champions League. The reason why I said it is because Champions League is knockout format. The league, you have to be more consistent, more games, and to a degree, you're going to play the same opponents. Obviously, more often than not, they're going to learn your style of play. In the Champions League, things can change very, very drastically.
I got it.
Different
Wait.
different opponents.
Wait.
Let me just ask this one.
Yeah.
I know you don't have the answer, but it's a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
How many times has the league been won 3 times in a row compared to how many times has the Champions League won 3 times in a row? And then I might answer which one's actually harder.
Let me drink my water because I ain't got an answer for it.
You have to
No.
That's why I said
You
the
know what?
three-peat at the
Let's
beginning,
round
how
up.
hard that is, bro.
Let's round up.
It's never been done before.
Let's
man.
round up.
It's never been
So
done before.
you're saying Barcelona. You're saying
No. I'm saying that Pep's Barcelona with Henry,
it's either Real Madrid
Eto'o,
or Barca. You
Messi.
can't
so
pick.
Barcelona, yeah.
No. I'm going to say
He's saying first year Barca, second year Real Madrid.
no. Real Madrid. I'm saying Real
And
Madrid.
you're saying
Real Madrid.
for me, I'm saying Barcelona simply because peak Barcelona under Pep were unplayable. You couldn't play against them. I do, even though Real Madrid did, obviously won 3 Champions Leagues. I think
That double side.
peak Real Madrid was still vulnerable at points. In that run, as you said, there were times in that Champions League run where they were quite lucky. Barcelona were just blowing teams out of the water for fun. So I would say Barcelona. But that is a very good question. Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
Tomorrow I might even change my answer.
For real.
Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
Jason. We're going to move on to Jack Andretti, the Tottenham fan. I remember you. His question is, what's the most spectacular goal you've ever seen live? So I'm assuming he means in the stadium, live in front of your face.
Also, actually being in the
Yeah.
stadium watching it.
I know my one, and it hurts me. And I know he's asked this because I've already answered this on Twitter, so you know the answer already. It was Bentley from the halfway line at the Emirates when we drew 4-4 with Tottenham. And I was right next to the Spurs fans, and it was 4-2 up with 30 seconds to go in injury time. We drew 4-4.
I remember that goal. That goal was...
Almunia
Yeah,
is rubbish.
He's dead.
Halfway line. That's probably the most spectacular goal I've seen.
That's hard, you know. Yeah, I might have to go by more recent... Okay, one of them might have even been from last season when I was at Anfield, when I saw Salah score the goal against Tottenham, where it's on the right-hand side, and somehow he done like a little... He done a Messi-esque dribble. I say Messi-esque because the way he got in that gap, and he beat, I think, 3 guys. I was like,
the
my
finish was
word.
sexy
I didn't
as
think he had that in his locker, even though I knew Salah was.
That was a good goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say Highbury, I think it was 2005. I can't remember now. Man United 4-2, Arsenal. And I have to
John
give it to O'Shea.
John O'Shea, I remember
Yeah.
that.
I think there was a better. Some of the team goals, like the crosses and Ronaldo tapping at the back post, were pretty good. But just for the fact it was John O'Shea.
Yeah.
And then when you look back at it, obviously at the time, it's you see it once and that's it, innit? And I was sitting in the Arsenal end, so you couldn't even celebrate too much, innit? But yeah, that pass from Scholes and then the chip from O'Shea, yeah. I think I have to
with his
give it
left
that.
foot as well.
foot,
It was horrible.
I think for me, it will probably when Italy played Nigeria just before the 2014 World Cup. I believe it was Rossi's goal. I think it was just the combination between him and Balotelli and then Rossi finishing it. That's probably the best goal I've seen.
Okay, so this is the last question, and it's from Hazim Zayeb. Top 5 defenders of all time in order.
Okay,
In
let me
order.
actually just
this
try
is
not to type
stupid.
this.
These are hard questions.
This is a deep
question.
Yeah, I'm-
This is a very deep
You guys
question.
can go. I want to make sure that I've got this fully right now. Don't.
No, I think I'll go first.
Yeah,
You go first.
I'm gonna
bro.
go first. Okay, for me, I'm gonna say number 1, Maldini. Number 2, I'll probably say Baresi, Franco Baresi. There's gonna be a lot of Italians, mostly Italians.
Yeah, for real.
Number 3, Cafu. Cafu was
Deep.
Number 4. This is where it gets tricky now. This is where it gets really tricky. Say Cannavaro.
Yeah.
Cannavaro.
Cannavaro was a bro.
And-
He was a soldier.
And number 5 for me.
You might as well just go Italian again.
Yeah,
innit?
yeah, he has to, he has to.
Because I'm thinking there's.
You know what?
What's it? He has to say
You
it.
gotta say, because I know.
See, I kind of want to be biased on this one. And
Because he had a partner in. I don't want to say. He had a partner in crime.
Ashley Cole.
Bro. Ashley
Cole.
I can see.
I like that.
That's fair.
Okay,
That's fair.
that's fair.
No, that's
That's
fair.
fair.
And I'll give mine, and that's why when someone said Premier League, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
listen.
I'm not gonna lie, he slipped my mind.
Of course he did, he must have.
Because I thought you were gonna say something.
I don't think he gets enough. I don't think he gets
doesn't,
enough
he
credit
doesn't,
for how good he was.
doesn't.
Ashley Cole, best left back
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
than Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
Say that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roberto Carlos was attacking
Yeah.
wise was
Ashley
amazing.
Cole, best left back.
Ashley Cole pocketed many wingers.
Yeah, he
like
did.
Top
He
wingers.
did, he did.
Yeah. Ronaldo had him at first, and then by the end of it, Ashley Cole had Ronaldo.
He kind of studied him hard.
I'm gonna. I can only go by what I've seen.
Yeah, that's because there's
that's the
people
best
that,
way,
yeah.
So I'm gonna go first. Cannavaro, Ballon d'Or winner.
Wait, number 1.
First, that's
Let him
that's
get through
usually
his
at the
five.
top first. then we go second, and then third. Cannavaro, Ballon d'Or winner, 2006. Second, Maldini. I'll give it Maldini because of his versatility, the centre back and the left back. It was close for the third, who I'll give it to Nesta.
Yeah, see,
Is that
I
who
was-
you're
I was-
thinking?
He's-
This
yeah,
is what I'm
he's
trying to
a-
say, partner in crime.
he's
innit?
around
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Then I would see this one I was debating now. Fifth, I'll say fifth. I'll give it to Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Fourth is that I'm debating.
Remember, they're not centre back. It could just be.
No, yeah. I know.
Alright, when you see my list. Jeez, bro.
I'm gonna give it to Philip Lahm.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
giving it to
you know-
Lahm.
he was in a
Now,
You messed up my list, man.
see,
knew he was in around there. He
it
was
was
in my mind as
between
well.
Lahm or Cafu.
Yeah.
But because what Lahm did, well, actually, first Lahm was a left back. When I first grew up watching Lahm, he was a left back for Germany, and he was doing a mad thing.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, best left back in the world, better than Ashley Cole. Then he went to right back.
Yeah.
I was like, well, best
Bro,
right back in
then
the world,
he
better than
went-
Danny Alves.
Yeah.
And then he went to midfield under
That's
Pep.
what I was
I'm like,
gonna say.
Yeah.
so,
And Pep turned him into Xavi, bro.
so I'm like,
Oh, bro.
I have to just give it to Lahm just for that over Cafu. Cafu for me, brilliant growing up.
I
Loved it.
just loved
You
watching
have
Cafu.
But-
broke up my list. you know.
But I have to give it to
Alright,
so
alright.
Cannavaro,
Yeah, Cannavaro.
Maldini, Nesta, Lahm, Ashley Cole.
Wait,
Alright. Wait, here's mine, here's
Who was your number 1?
My number 1 was I forgot.
Maldini.
Maldini
Alright.
was my number 1.
Let me give you my one.
Maldini, Cannavaro.
Alright, so mine, Maldini as well. Bro, Maldini, I loved Maldini watching him play, bro. He was too sick. Second, oh my days, bro. Cannavaro. Third, Nesta.
Yep.
Fourth, Javier Zanetti.
What?
I got 4 Italian.
Fifth, you ready? Fifth.
Fourth.
Yep. Fifth. Fifth. Man, I'm saying it anyway. Lilian Thuram. That's right. No, but the thing is, I know why you're mad. Because thinking of this now, I'm like, for me, I might put Zanetti higher up, you know. Because for me, he's got higher. But there's Javier Zanetti, you know.
But you know what? I think he deserves to go higher just for the fact his hair never moved for 25 years.
But
25
for me,
years, his hair never
do
moved.
you know what? Javier Zanetti, for me, is the best right back of all time next to Lahm, you know. It might have to be next to Lahm.
Okay. No, this has been too much. Now, from 5 to 1, and guys, this is the only list. These lists were just
my
pre-courses. This is the official list.
You know
That's
he's gonna
happening.
throw in some.
He's going to find some
Oh no! This is
Banter on the
man's
word.
gonna buy me.
put Taribo West.
No, special mention. Did you know how good that guy
I knew
was?
it. I told you.
That guy was. Don't best to Turbo West. Number 5, Ashley Cole.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see why.
Best left back of all time.
Yeah.
As you guys said, pocketed some of the top players, ridiculously consistent. Number 4, Marcel Desailly. Back in the 90s, there was no defender like
know,
him.
but
Hence why, and also won 2
Milan,
Champions Leagues
I was
back to
conflicted
back.
between him and Thuram, you know, because I like both of them.
Like again, like basically, Marcel Desailly is the only defender back in the 90s who could easily walk into any team playing right now. Number 3, Maldini.
Okay. Yeah.
Again,
he had to be in there. Yeah.
A Fulham boss, a top man, and everything. Now, number 2, I may not have grown up with him, but for me, this is the most revolutionary defender of all time, Beckenbauer. He invented the ball-playing defender. But before that, defender, so literally, he is the most revolutionary defender of all time.
Yeah, I can't disagree, but I just
So for me, I've got to put
I
him.
saw more Maldini, but anyway,
Yeah, so studying him, what did he? Number 1,
go on.
the number 1 defender of all
I know he's
time,
gonna say.
the one, the
You
only,
say I think you're gonna say.
Bart Simpson,
I thought he was gonna say JJ
aka
gonna say.
Philip freaking Lam.
Okay.
This guy's consistency, his tackling, going forward. I don't think he was ever sent off.
Nah,
I don't think ever in his career he was ever sent off.
Yeah.
The G.
No Nesta, no Cannavaro.
Yeah.
I
I wanted to put Lam on my list, you know, but
actually thought he was gonna say JJ Okocha.
do you know what I thought you're gonna say? I
I
thought you
swear
say
to
Marcelo,
God,
you know.
I
I literally thought you were gonna
He
say.
didn't say Marcelo.
You say Marcelo, bro.
Marcelo is one of the greatest players of all time. Not one of the greatest defenders of all time, one of the greatest players of all time.
All right, so that's it for the Q&A this week. Thank you very much for your questions. There's some really good
Great
questions.
questions, man.
If you want to have your questions featured next week, send in your emails to hopemeetsbanter@gmail.com. Thank you, Neeks, for coming down of Neeks Sports. Make sure you check out Neeks Sports. The link will be in the description below this video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week.
Safe.